All right, this is One Last Midnight. Welcome back to another episode of Valheim. So in this episode, we're going to go ahead and look at how to get smart lumber. Typically, what you wind up doing is you wind up getting an axe and going up into a tree and whacking on it a few times. And then the tree falls over and then you chop it up into pieces and that's it. That's how you get lumber. Well, I'm going to show you a couple different ways to get lumber. And, they have some similarities, but it's a little bit smarter way, and it's by using your environment. So the first scenario, what you should do is just find yourself an area that is pretty forested. I happen to be in the dark forest in this example, but you have the trees on some sort of an incline. A little hill, it doesn't have to be a big hill. And what you're going to do is you're going to chop down a tree. Now you can't really force the tree to fall in a specific way, but you can hope that it'll fall with gravity and go down the hill. And as the tree is going down the hill, it's hitting other trees. So each tree has a number of hit points associated to it. It seems to me that it's somewhere probably like in 120 range. I'm not exactly sure, but it takes a couple whacks from my axe to be able to knock it down. So if you can get a tree falling to hit other trees several times, or even better yet, to roll off of a tree where it does multiple impacts, you're reducing the amount of hit points from the tree itself. One of two things can happen at this point. Either you're going to start a cascading event where that tree that you just chopped down does enough damage to a standing tree that it also breaks and knocks down, and then hopefully it starts hitting other trees on the way down, and then you just have this kind of rolling event where the forest is just toppling down because you've got enough damage hitting these other trees that it's just falling. Or at the very least, you're knocking off a bunch of hit points off of a tree so that when you do go to chop it down, it's only one swing from your axe. The other benefit of this is that when the trees are falling, they're also hitting the trees that are sitting on the ground. And so they're breaking them into those two pieces. And then if they're already broken into those two pieces, they're actually breaking them down into lumber. This all saves you axe swings. This all saves you the durability on your axe and the amount of time that you need to spend actually deforesting an area to be able to get lumber. If you use this first technique, you can pretty quickly get a massive amount of lumber just by using gravity and a hill to help you out. The other concept is very similar to the first concept. What you're going to do though is you're going to find a heavily dense area. You want to make sure that trees are grouped like 4 or 5 in like a little bunch, and you're going to knock down one tree. And chances are what'll happen is that tree is going to hit one of those other 4 or 5 trees, and it's going to cause it damage. Now, in this case, they tend to get hung up quite a bit because they're not falling as far or able to do as much damage. But you can still wind up producing the same effect of a hill, where you can have a cascading event where you start knocking down a bunch of trees, and then those trees also wind up knocking down or breaking up the logs that are on the ground so that you don't have to chop them up yourself. This second way is the way that I use quite often. If I am going to forest an area for lumber for a house, I will look for dense trees and try to make them collide into each other, just because it saves me a bunch of time having to chop up each individual tree. Now, the third way is really daring. If you've got the armor or if you've got a shield, I suggest going into the dark forest and finding a troll. Now, there's 2 different types of trolls, and the standard troll is the rock throwing kind of troll. He does a couple different attacks. He does a rock throw, and then he also does a slam on the ground that does a massive amount of damage in kind of an AoE type of effect. This guy's okay. I mean, he doesn't really deforest for you as well as the other troll that I'm going to show you. But if this is the only troll that you can find, make sure when he throws the rock, you're hiding behind the tree so that the rock hits the tree and the tree takes damage. Again, fighting these guys is best if you have a shield that can block at least, 60 points of damage so that you're not taking damage from the troll when he does his attacks. But get that troll to either throw rocks at trees or around trees, and when he does his big, pounding on the ground move, make sure you're around some trees so that those trees take damage, and he will start knocking down trees. The other troll, and it's really the best type of troll, if you can find this troll out there, is the troll that is carrying a giant log. If you can find the troll that's carrying the giant log, you win, because this guy is a great deforester. He's lumber troll. This guy has 2 attacks as well. He's got a slamming on the ground attack like the first guy, but then he's also got a wide swing attack with that giant log that he has. He is fantastic for deforesting an area. Again, make sure that you have a shield and just kite him around trees. Yeah, you're going to have to knock off the gray dwarfs, any other kind of additional spawns that might happen along the way. But just make this troll follow you around into forested areas and have him knock down the trees for you. And the beautiful thing is when he does his slam attack, which is he slams that log on the ground, that slam attack will actually break the other lumber that's sitting on the ground. It'll break it into the 2 logs if it's a single piece. And then it'll also bust it into lumber if it is already broken up. With this guy chasing you around for 10 minutes in a dense forested area, you're going to have enough wood to build yourself a massive structure. He does a great job of deforesting. Now, don't kill him off. You're going to want to kill him off. You're going to want to end his life. Don't do it. Let him go back to his natural habitat. Run away from him because you might have to use him again. You know, don't waste a great resource of a lumber troll. You want to keep that guy around. I mean, he's your peon. He's your worker. Make sure that you keep him alive so that if you're going to need more wood in the future, that you turn around and you go back and drag him in. And even better, if you've gotten to the point where you've gotten the cultivator and you can plant trees, go close to where he lives and replant a bunch of trees. And then that way you can use him over and over again for some quick and easy lumber. All right, well, that's it for me. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, hit that like button. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. I'd love to have you in the community. If you want to follow me on any of my social media, you can find the links in the description below, and make sure to hit that notification bell. That way you know when I go live and when I post new videos. I'll talk to you later. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.